Hey YouTube, let's set up my 2025 bullet journal spreads together. The journal I'm using is the Playful Panda bullet journal in A5 size from Notebook Therapy. It has these really bright white dot grid pages, and the paper is quite thick, which minimizes the ghosting and bleed through of my pens. It also came with this super cute panda washi sticker sheet, which I don't use in this setup, but it comes with the journal. I kept my title page really simple, lettering the year in brush calligraphy and adding a key for appointments, social events, and to-do list items. The camera is out of focus here, but this is what my lettering looks like at normal speed. It's actually quite slow, and I pick up my pen between each stroke in order to have better brush control. And now this is my lettering at ×20 speed. From here on, most of the setup is between ×20 to ×50 speed, since I realized after filming that I'm actually quite slow at drawing and writing when I try to not lean in too far in order to keep my head out of the frame. There are also a few cuts when I erase my sketch markings or when I go over some smudges with a white pen. I filmed this setup over 2 really hot days, and in my impatience, I didn't let some of the writing dry for long enough before I rested my hand on it, so there were quite a few smudges I needed to correct. Overall, this setup process took me around 4 hours, and that is excluding all the sketching time. In case you can't tell yet, I took inspiration from the design of the bullet journal cover, and my theme for my 2025 setup is pandas. I love the simplicity of the black and white color scheme, with some accent colors here and there for the bamboo in this page, and other little doodles I add in later pages. I also add this rounded rectangular border with a fine liner to just about all of my 2025 spreads, in order to keep a consistent theme across the whole setup. I'm using this super pigmented and vibrant paint pen for the coloring, as it gives a really nice smooth finish to the drawings, and it doesn't show up streaky in the solid colored areas like most of my other pens. My next page is my 2024 reflection and my 2025 looking forward to, which I fill out after I record this video. To be completely honest, I'm not sure how I feel about these titles. I followed my sketch lines for the calligraphy, but it still looks a little wonky and a tiny bit forced. I ended up going over the 2024 title since I didn't like what I originally came up with, and the lettering is just a little awkward overall. Although I kept wanting to go over it and fix it, I ultimately left it as you see now, as a reminder to myself that every page doesn't have to be 100% perfect, and these little imperfections, which I might see as mistakes, don't actually affect the functionality of the spread. This next set of pages I was super excited for. It's my future log, and I decided to add in a Dutch door to the spread. I also lettered this bouncy calligraphy title on both margins. I really love how the first one turned out, but it's kind of like that second eye phenomenon where some people find it hard to replicate the original eye or to make their eyes even in sketches. I don't know, I feel like the second title just turned out a little bit wonky and less bouncy compared to the first. That aside, I'm using this future log as a tracker for my days off from work, and also to see how each month looks at a glance. Like the borders of my other pages, I free-handed these lines for each monthly box, which I think gives it a more hand-drawn feel rather than rigid straight lines, which tend to look like printed boxes. With the handwritten titles and calendars, and the little panda doodles that go along with each month, I think the hand-drawn boxes are more cohesive overall with the look of my setup. My goal for this year was to write each monthly calendar starting on the correct day of the week, so that I wouldn't have to cover up a whole month in white pen and rewrite it, like I have had to in the past years. I'm glad to say that I did achieve this goal, although there were some instances where I momentarily forgot how to count, as writing the numbers 1 through to 30 or 31 over and over again turned out to be exhausting for my already tired brain. I was really excited to draw all the little pandas in each monthly box. I tried to pick some unique poses for each panda and also base some of the doodles on the month itself. For example, for January, I wanted to draw a panda holding a firework to kick off the new year, but I didn't really know how to draw a handheld firework, so I drew him holding a balloon instead, in the same celebratory kind of way. My May and July pandas are a little lazy, since I find those are often the slowest months for me, as the weather's getting colder here in Australia, and I just want to stay in bed all the time. For October, I drew a panda holding a present, since that's my birthday month, and for November, the panda is relaxing quite happily, since we're almost at my favourite holiday, Christmas, and then onto the new year. This next page is for me to track my monthly expenses and income. The idea is I check off one of the 12 boxes every time I pay my bill or receive my payslip for that month, so I can keep track of when my money is coming in and out of my account for the important things. I also had space for a savings tracker to make sure my account balance isn't decreasing as the year goes on. After including everything I wanted to track, I had space to write a motivational quote, but I settled on taxes are black and white, like pandas, as taxes reminds me that I'm an adult and I need to be responsible for my finances, which is what this page is for. And the inclusion of pandas is very much on theme with this setup. The pandas I drew for this page are very specific to the tracker, and I like that the green adds a pop of colour to these otherwise monochrome spreads. My next page is a tracker for my purchases, especially those online purchases that I feel like I always forget about after I press checkout, and I only remember when they turn up at my doorstep. For this tracker, I just drew a table that I expect to fill out during the year, and keeping this to only one page will hopefully help my self-control. This next spread is a replacement tracker, which I saw in a Study Quill Plan With Me video years ago, but for some reason I never implemented this into my own bullet journal. These are products for my contact lens, which I somehow never have spares of. One of the pandas for this spread has put on glasses and is looking a little confused, which I imagine is exactly what I look like when I can't find my spare contact lens solutions. I'm hoping this tracker will prevent the mad scramble to the optometrist to restock my solutions when I inevitably realize I'm out of spares. The final page for this setup is essentially a bucket list dump. I always see nice cafes or restaurants on Instagram that I want to go to, but I think that the save feature is a bit of a pain to navigate, especially when I'm looking for something specific that I remember seeing before. This spread is for me to write down all those places, so I can have a centralized list to look back on and easily find the place I'm looking for. When I find a place I like the look of, I will note down what it is, the expected price range, and the location, so I have all the information I need readily available. After I finish doodling the pandas, I go over every second line in the table with a pale grey Tombow brush pen to make the page look a little less boring, I guess. I also go back to my packages tracker and do the same with that table as well for a more cohesive look between spreads. And now here is the final flip through of my 2025 bullet journal setup. My favourite spread is definitely the future log with all the different pandas and the Dutch door. Let me know if you have any theme suggestions for my monthly pages in the comment section below, and I'll see you next time in my January plan with me. Bye!